Okay, well, welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. I thank you for joining me this lovely Thursday evening. That is also a Packers game, so we will stay on task with time. Yes, yep. Game doesn't start till 7:20. We're good. We're good, people. We're good. We'll be off before the game starts. So we will stay on time. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was using their name in the portion for votes. We will need the names to be there. So that's why we're asking for you to switch your names over.
We have one person listed as iPad 2. I'm not sure who that person is.
Oh, that's Liz. She's on twice.
That's
okay.
me. Sorry, I'm a special flower.
No worries. Then we're all good.
Okay, great. Okay, so we are now officially called to order at 6:06 p.m. And the first thing I wanted to start with is the announcement of how we run our meeting. So this is our agenda for this evening. First, we're gonna have, well, we've already done the call to order, but next we'll have our officers report. Then we'll have the icebreaker, which we will all have fun doing that, I promise. And then we'll have our committee updates. Then Ms. Johnson will speak with us, and then we'll have announcements. And if there's any new business from anyone in attendance, that's where we would bring those issues up, and then we will close out with an adjournment. Okay.
All right. So meeting minutes from last month's meeting were sent out to members in advance. This is your time. Let me know if there were any errors or updates you felt were needed in those minutes, and I'll make sure to record them. All right. I'm not hearing any objections. So Carmen, looks like the minutes are good.
Yes. Then they are approved as submitted, and we will go on to the next agenda item. So I wanted to announce to everyone our full board. So you know this is our executive board. Of course, we have our officers that are on tonight, but in addition to our officers that are on our executive board, we have our committee chairs, and the committee chairs are as follows. Liz Barnes is our communications chair. Nicole Chosnick is our classroom parent chair. Anissa Dunn is our bylaws chair. Carolyn Friesch is our membership and grant writing chair. Karen Hardcastle is our fundraising chair. Robin Holmes is the reflections chair. And Nicole Lubensky is our family involvement chair. And Margaret Walsh holds our community involvement chair position. And so this is our team in addition to the officers that are our vice president, which is Carolyn Friesch again. Our secretary is Liz Barnes again, and our treasurer is Monica Kusheri. So I thought it would help because these meetings are business meetings, and I know that it's a little different making that transition, that we go over parliamentary procedure so everyone knows how the meetings will be run and conducted, and so you can all participate adequately. So it's easier if you know the rules, then you can actually participate, and I don't want anyone to feel like they're being left out. So basically we use parliamentary procedure and we use Robert's Rules of Order to run business meetings and the PTA meetings in specific, because that's what we voted on in our bylaws. And it's also the most fair representation of getting everyone's views out. So this gives everyone the ability to be able to speak freely, to hold the floor when they need to, and to be able to address all of the things on the agenda. So we will send the agenda out in advance so that you can review the items that are on the agenda so that you're ready when you come to the meetings to be able to participate. And if there are things that you feel like aren't being addressed or need to be addressed, we can do so through the use of motions. And that's where we come to next. So any key business that we do as a PTA, we have to vote on as a membership. Some things we'll bring to you out of committees, which are why we have the committee chairs. So those committees meet outside of these meetings, and they bring recommendations back to you to approve and to move forward with. So while we're in these meetings, we may need motions based on recommendations from the committees. These are not things that are set in stone until we vote on them here. so that people understand how motions are run. Once something is presented or there's an item that we think we need discussion on, there's someone that would move to make a motion. So like you would declare what it is that you're asking for, and then, oh, sorry, I'll slow down, sorry. And then we would need a second. And then once there's a second, we would ask for discussion on the motion. So that's when anyone who's for or against the motion can make suggestions or topic discussions on the issue at hand. And then once discussion is closed, we vote. And then if you're in favor of the motion, you vote yay. If you're not in favor of the motion, you vote nay. And if you want to abstain, which you don't want to vote at all, you don't want to be heard on the issue, you just abstain. And then we go by majority vote. There are some things that we have to vote on that we need more votes than just a simple majority. And when those moments come, I will definitely let you know. Typically what we would need is 2/3. Like tonight, we're gonna have a vote that needs a 2/3 vote of all in attendance, and that's our budget. Anytime there's things that could affect rule changes for the organization, we need 2/3 votes. And then we will have to call the roll in order to make sure we're catching the true membership, because only members of the PTA can vote. And then once we do that, we can move forward to the next item. And that's why we have the voting issue. And then any resolutions that we might want to offer on behalf of the PTA come here as well. They're presented, we think about them, we talk about them, and then we vote on them, and then we move them forward. So because we're on Zoom and we're all using mute, if you guys know how to use the option to raise your hand, or if you want to unmute right now, I want to entertain any questions that people might have, because I just told you a whole lot really fast. So if there are questions, I have no problems backing up and explaining further detail. I just need to know if you have questions.
Carmen, if somebody forgets, what should they do?
So use your chat, because we have the chat option. If there's a question or anything that comes up, or you don't know what's happening, raise your hand or use the chat box, and then we will circle back.
I don't see the raise your hand option, Carmen. I think that's webinars. This is a meeting, so.
Oh, sorry. Okay, just use, no, you can clap your hands or thumbs up, or yes, sorry. So thumbs up, clap your hands. There's like emojis that are called reactions. So if you see that little smiley face with plus, you can use reactions there. If you love something, you can put a heart on it. If you're not about that. Oh, yep. If you go to the participants, you can raise your hand. So go to the participants where there's two little people down at the bottom. Go to your name and go to more, and you can raise your hand. There we go. Perfect. So I did not see any hands raised. I did not see anyone unmute. So I think we are good to move on to the next slide.
Carmen, would you like me to play this right away?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Transformative family engagement is at the core of National PTA's Center for Family Engagement.
Transformative family engagement is something I've been thinking about for months, and it is different from traditional family engagement. We're PTAs. We do family engagement well. We know how to pack a room. We know how to get people into the school. But then what happens next?
So our mission is to ensure that every child's potential becomes a reality. And this is by engaging and empowering our families and communities to be able to advocate for their children and for all children. And so with the ever-changing world, our families are busier than ever before. And our nation's population is more diverse than ever before. And we really need to be able to meet that demand for transformative family engagement.
I often wonder, do other folks feel as comfortable going in and saying, this is what I need for my child, this is what I'm observing, and going in with confidence, whether it's a teacher conference or a back to school meeting or a special meeting around a need my child might have. I realize that I may have some tools that others don't have, and I want to make sure that every parent in our community has the ability to advocate for their child in that way, and so I think that's a large part of our job.
And so now I apologize. I had to admit somebody and then that happened. So
It's okay. We'll go with the flow.
I have 2 people that are entering the meeting. So I think we were forward. How about parents, either both parents working 1 or 2 jobs. We have some parents that are single family parents, and we have now grandparents raising grandchildren. And that's actually a situation that I'm in personally. We have been raising my almost 5-year-old granddaughter since she's 6.5 months old. And so I'm thinking about to be able to help. Sorry.
It's okay. It's like a 3-minute video, maybe let them in after.
To be able to help her, how am I going to be able to do this as an individual who works full-time and may not have the same opportunities to get into the school as I did when I had my own children? So we need to look at something that is totally different, totally exciting, that will really engage the parents. And I think if you think about the definition of insanity, it's doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. And if we continue to do things the way we have been doing them, then we're not going to be successful in reaching our parents. So we do need a transformation.
I think we have to be more transformative in including all families so that we can help to achieve a level of equity among our students, making sure that every student is thought of, they're cared for, their families' concerns are present in the work that we do, and so that we're making sure that we are representing all of the children in our school and all of their diverse needs as we advocate for children and try to uplift them through their education and engage their families.
Yes, there's ways that we've done things in the past. Oh my gosh, there's all of those ideas, etc. But at the end of the day, be creative. We've given you a new platform, a new identity, a new opportunity to actually be welcoming, to be inclusive, and to most importantly, be creative. Be a great thought leader in the sense of how can you actually take this transformative family engagement, work it within your school, and actually critically think through this entire process and reach out to your entire community.
Equity and effectiveness. These are essential to great transformative family engagement. If you want to learn more about transformative family engagement, go to pta.org/family engagement.
Carmen, did you have any remarks or would you like me to go to the next slide?
No, I just wanted to make sure that everyone kind of knew, like, that's the theme of everything is family engagement, and that's what PTA is all about. So we can go on to the next slide. So when I was thinking about what would be a good theme for the administration, especially because we're living through a pandemic, I realized, and also I just love the letter C, I thought cultivating and connecting our children with their school teachers and friends encompassed everything I wanted to do with the PTA, and I hope that all of you want to do with the PTA as well. So I thought it was a fitting thing for this year going into next year. So we have an upcoming event that we are looking to incorporate into our school. At this time, the holidays are coming up and there may be a lot of people that are in need. So I just wanted to talk about an opportunity through the Racine Kenosha Community Action Agency. I'm hoping that we as a school can attempt to raise funds for this activity, as well as give an outlet to families that may be in need. So right now they are taking applications. These are need-based donations that are given out to the community of Racine. There is the opportunity for you to contact the Community Action Agency if you are in need of a holiday basket, and you can call them at their main number, which I will put in the chat. I'm sorry, I should have updated that. I'll put their number in there. And
I can get it, Carmen.
Okay. And then by December 7th, they're going to send out letters to each family individually. And at that time, they will give you a day and a time to pick up your basket. So Thanksgiving, they rely solely on donations. If you are, they definitely have the baskets for Christmas, but if you're in need for Thanksgiving, it's really a donation only type situation. They're more prepared for the winter break holidays than they are for Thanksgiving. But if they do have donations that come in early, they will prepare baskets for Thanksgiving. But if not, they would be more in line with the time for the winter holidays. So they do it COVID safe. So what they do is they arrange a date and a time for you to come in to pick up the baskets, and you just have to bring your ID. So you would have done the whole application ahead of time with them to make sure that you're really a family in need. They do all of it over the phone, and then once that's completed, then the baskets are distributed in time for the holidays. So I think it's a worthy cause for us to attempt to do a drive for. I'm hopeful that someone would make a motion at this time to allow us to go forward with attempting to do a fundraiser to raise funds to support this effort, especially if we have families at our school in need.
I so move.
Do we have a second?
Second it.
I second.
Do we have any further discussion on the motion? Okay, so since this is one where we don't necessarily want to take a lot of time, if you can use the chat option. If you can't chat out your vote, then you can say it out loud, but if you can just put in the chat. Thank you.
Anissa, I know you're on your phone. Maybe she dropped off. All right.
Were you talking to me?
No, Anissa. But
Oh,
I don't see, maybe she's not here any longer.
She's gonna switch over to her laptop. She said she was gonna try to switch over. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's probably doing that now to try to be able to log in.
Well, that's 10 votes, Carmen.
Okay, so then based on the number of people on the call, those who are opposed or abstaining, okay, I don't see any new votes. So based on the lack of nays and abstainers, the motion has passed. Okay, I turn it over to you, Monica.
Hi, everybody. My name is Monica Kisheri, and I'm your current PTA treasurer. So we've had a busy week formulating a budget, and I just wanted to give us a quick report. So the current balance is $3,604.74, and we do have a few pending transactions. So we were able to secure all of those headphones for our teachers, and they were delivered last week on behalf of all of our PTA parents and members. So we do have a few checks that, still need to clear for that, our transactions. And we also have, I was able to open our brand new bank account under our new name, RUSD Montessori PTA. So I did secure some actual checkbook for our new names. So that was a small expense of $18.50. And then I think our pumpkin bash went really well, and Liz was kind enough to get some prizes together for us. So that is also pending some reimbursement for that. And then I'm really excited to announce that our Flower Power fundraiser has come to a close, and we haven't actually deposited this check yet, but we were able to secure $921.50 for that fundraiser, which is amazing. So amazing. I want to thank Margaret for putting it together and allowing us to see it through with her. And so thank you so much. That's wonderful. So with those transactions, our total balance is $4,297.68. In the meantime, these slides were from a few days ago, so obviously things are always changing. So we'll just give you an update every single month. So my main agenda item for tonight, you can go ahead and go to the next slide, Carolyn, is to go over our 2020-2021 proposed budget. Okay, so I just want to remind you how it's going to work is I'm going to go through each line item and a little bit of a somewhat of a explanation of why maybe we came up with those numbers, but I want to keep it in mind that we didn't currently have a budget from previous years. So this is all brand new. They're estimates because unfortunately, I couldn't track every single fundraiser we did in the past and exactly what we made and things of that nature. So just remember that this is just proposed, okay? And then everybody will have an opportunity to pull line items out, and if a motion happens in a second, we can have that discussion tonight. So just remember, for voice voting, only dues paying PTA members can vote. And we want to just remind you, if you don't already have your name in the Zoom window, make sure you change it to your real full name. And let's see, I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to jump right into it to try to get through this with the time that we have. Can everybody see my screen okay? No. New share.
Now I can.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. All right, so it's always going to have our balance on hand, right? We just talked about what that balance was. And so I just want to draw your attention to the column on the left. This is going to be our proposed budget, and the column on the right is going to be our actual income, right? So what actually has happened or will happen as it, as the year goes on. So we're going to focus on the proposed today on the left-hand side. So the first is going to be all of our income or receipts. So the first one is going to be local membership dues. We currently have 39 members. So we have, our goal is to have 40. So that's why those numbers are there. Bank interest over time, I really wasn't sure depending on what our balance is. So I just put $10 in there. Donations, this would just be, any donations that maybe come from a company or come from a parent or just kind of like random, not necessarily a grant or anything. So again, these numbers are just kind of guesstimates, and any input as we go through, we'll have the time to discuss that soon. So I just put $100 for that. Carmen and I did complete this together. So fundraising projects is going to be the main income of our PTA. As we would all expect, okay? So we have our fall bulb sale. Originally, I was proposed that we would only make about $800 because I think that was one number that I was able to retrieve from last year. Happy to know that we actually exceeded that this year, so that's wonderful. We have our Usborne book sale that is currently starting tonight. And so we basically, I'm hoping, again, I've never actually done a book sale personally, so I just put I was hoping we could make at least $400 for that. We have our Dragon Pit barbecue that will be tomorrow. If you haven't placed your orders, make sure to do that. So I put about $200 in there because we get a 30% back for that. We did do the Marcus gift cards last year. I guess I should back up for a second. I want you also to understand that we did this budget as if we are all going to be a regular year and a regular in-person scenario. So this year is going to be unique. And this is not necessarily going to cater to this year, but we're hoping to have a foundation for, let's say, next year in hopes that we will be back to a normal schedule at school. So right now we're not going to do Marcus gift cards because obviously I don't know if there are many people who are going to the movies or would be comfortable, but we've done these in the past. So we wanted to start and still have them as line items to do them in the future. So for the gift cards, we're hoping to get about $150 in that. The Penny Wars is another very, very successful one. So we're hoping to get about $800 for that. The ice cream social, last year was our first annual. Obviously, we didn't have the opportunity to do it this year. And I don't really know exactly, it was just basically donations. So I put about 350 depending on how many parents come. The family fun night last year was one that I do know that we were able to pull in about $1,000. So I'm pretty comfortable putting that in for that line item. The spring scholastic book sale, we're going to look into this. And like I said, I'm not sure what we did in the past. I think that the school did do this one last year, but I'm hoping about $400. And then the Montessori Masquerade is also going to be a very large, probably our largest one that we're hoping to make an annual event. We do have that date secured for this year. We will see how the year progresses by the time May comes. But if we were to have 100 people attend dinner and pay this amount, which is the difference, you know, profit portion of it, and then have a silent auction of classroom items from our students, about 10, and then 10 items that would be donated from, you know, various businesses, in hopes that they would go for a bid of at least $30 or $100. That's how we get this $2,505 income right here for the masquerade. We have our box tops. I think we were about, hopefully to get about $100. Restaurant nights is going to be another big one. So last year we did Culver's, we did Texas Roadhouse, Rocky Rococo's, we did McDonald's. So I just kind of put some rough numbers in there. So Culver's, I think, was one of the most successful that we did. So I put 200. Texas Roadhouse, I think we only got about $50 last year, so I put that in there. And then these two, I didn't have actual numbers. I was just kind of, McDonald's, I think, was very successful, so I guesstimated hopefully about this much, 75 and 300. The other three are just ideas of potential businesses that we could consider. Georgie Porgy's, Noodles and Company, and either Qdoba or Chipotle, because those are really common, you know, places that people may dine in and participate in. So depending on the percent that we get back, that's why the Noodles and Company is a little higher than the other few. And I'll let you read some of those numbers. This year, we are not getting involved with the spiritware. Ms. Johnson decided she was going to handle it this year, given our circumstances, but we are hoping to be involved in that for years to come as the PTA. And right now, it's not necessarily a fundraiser, but it could be a great potential fundraiser. So we did put that in there as well. This column here is for seed money. These are just kind of speculation numbers, but as our committees are formed, then we can kind of get an idea of what those numbers need to be, okay? Our Shopperoo, that's discontinued now, but I think we got about $200 last year. This Stuff and Love was an idea that I had. I met a local business out of Burlington who is kind of like a Build-A-Bear, but with COVID, she sends packets in the mail and, you know, your child can build the bear at home. So I thought that might be kind of cool for an idea for in the future. So maybe $100 for that. Scripts is something we're going to be looking into. Oh, sorry guys, should have muted that. And then a rocket wash. Actually, Karen, our fundraiser chair, had a great suggestion to possibly do a fundraiser with rocket wash. And she said that it's been pretty successful in other things that she's done. So hopefully $1,000 on that. So we have our community sponsorship and grants. We're hoping to secure some money there, about $1,000. I did add this greenhouse line item because it came to our attention that Margaret in the past was able to secure a grant from the Kiwanis club and for our greenhouse, and it was $2,088.35. That grant money is already earmarked for the greenhouse. Now, if the referendum, if we're able to secure the greenhouse through that process, then this money would maybe go towards materials to maintain it, or to, you know, get our plants and seeds and things like that. So my goal for community sponsorship and grants is about $1,000. And then I just added that in so that you could see that we accounted for that. And then just random other income, smaller items that maybe aren't accounted for, I just put about $50. So that's our total proposed receipts. Obviously, this is a very full spreadsheet in hopes that in next year we can have a regular year, okay? So I'm going to go off to expenses, and then we'll be able to do a motion and vote on how we want to do this. Okay, guys, bear with me here. So then we have our proposed expenses, and basically administration. These bolded numbers are basically the total of everything that's underneath it. Okay, so total for supplies, teacher room supplies, you know, at $50 a teacher, and 15 teachers, and then virtual learning, if there's something in particular, that's where this headphones would have fit in that category, something that was necessary for virtual learning. So then that brings us to, and plus we just also put in a few extra expenses in case we need copies. So we basically have $1,200 in supplies, and that could, be a lot of different things. Printing, in the case that in the future, not everybody can communicate via Facebook. Right now, we're utilizing our packet pickups, but if the PTA needs to send out correspondence to 200 families, we have to be able to get things printed. Banking fees, so any type of fees that would include like our checks that we ordered. Mailing permit and postage. So that number is a little bit high because you think at 50 cents a stamp times 200, families, depending on how many times we need to, we want to make sure we have enough money for that. So that's about 500. And then we have our insurance. So insurance breaks down into several categories. That's general liability insurance, fidelity bond insurance, one-day event insurance, property and director and officer insurance. So these are just estimates. We are still in the process of securing all of these final numbers and details, but these are our minimums. So I kind of just put those in there. Teacher appreciation. Obviously, we love our teachers and we want them to know that we appreciate them. So we budgeted about $20 a teacher times 15 teachers. Educational assistants, they are rock stars as well. We don't want to make sure they're included. So we have 7 of them at $20 each. Back to school staff practice is something that they've done in the past, and Ms. Johnson already did that in the beginning of the year, so that was about $130. And then we have our 2 conferences, and as the PTA, we do like to support our teachers and buy them a meal during that time. We were able to buy them lunch earlier this week, so we did budget in those items here. So leadership education, obviously as a small PTA right now and basically just growing and starting, this may not be applicable this year, but the national PTA does have conferences and conventions and stuff that they offer to help educate like the president and the officers. So we do, even though we may not utilize this now, we do want to have it in the budgets for future. So that's about $500 and $400, so about $900 total for that. And then we have our committees. This is going to be one of our larger expenses, right? All of our, we have our fundraising committee, which is going to be the most because you have to invest money in order to make money for that. We have our membership. So we do have to pay some dues for our membership to the national and the state PTA. So that's included here. Grant writing, I don't necessarily anticipate a lot of money needed for that, but sometimes you do have to pay for submitting grants depending on what it is. So we just did a small $50 for that. Bylaws, in case, I think technically we are supposed to have copies of our bylaws given out to each of our members. So we just wanted to make that option to have some money to make sure that Anissa can do that. Family involvement. So example is Pumpkin Bash, which we obviously just completed. That was 9 gifts at $5. And then we have our field day. So I know in the past we had a lot larger number for field day. I think they spent about $1,000, not last year, obviously with COVID, but the year before. So this year, and a large amount of that money was like investing in a bounce house and things like that. But this year and in the coming years, until we get more seed money, we want to minimize that budget because we want to make sure we can move forward with the other plans that we have. So I did about $300 for that. And then a movie license has been talked about in the past. Obviously, right now we can't gather in the school at all, but in the future, that may be something we want to consider, and that's going to cost about $300. Nominating committee shouldn't need anything. Communications, depending on what it is. So if we decide to do newsletters, Member Hub is currently doesn't cost anything at this time, but if we develop into a larger PTA, we may need to utilize that and there may be a fee involved. The main thing that I want to stress is this G Suite. This is basically a Google suite that the PTA would be able to utilize so that it makes it easier. We could create an email address that's not linked to my personal, but I would have a treasurer and we'd have a president, we'd have a vice president, we'd have a secretary. And then in 2 years, when the next set of officers is elected, we can literally just hand over that passwords and emails to that G Suite and make it a very smooth transition. Currently, everything is done with personal Facebook pages and personal, and I think that if we're gonna really build this as an organization, it's very important that we have a good foundation and structure to be able to pass it on to the next people. Classroom parents, we want to thank them for all the work they're doing. There's 12 of them, so we're going to maybe buy them a little gift towards the end at $20 a piece. And then obviously we have our community involvement. I think I budgeted about $300 for that. And then greenhouse, this money is already accounted for, right? I mentioned that earlier. We have volunteers throughout the year, let's say. We want to make sure we have a line item to maybe, give them a small gift card as a token of our appreciation. And then our projects. So we have our reflections, which is going to be a big project coming up that Robin's going to be hosting for us. And that's about $300. And then we have self-esteem programs. I'm not exactly sure what Carmen has in mind for that, but I do know that that sounds amazing for any children, to be honest. I think that's a very important benefit that I'd like ours to be a part of. So I budgeted about $200 for that. So I want to ask for a motion to approve the budget as presented, and then we can have if that motion and second, then we can move on to the discussion piece of our budget tonight. Is anybody willing to make a motion to approve the budget as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Anybody for a second?
Second. Sorry, I wasn't able to catch who made the motion.
That's okay. Okay. So then
Carrie Moore, the motion.
Carrie Maury, thank you.
Yeah, it was Carrie. So basically at this point then, I want to welcome any discussion on the budget as presented. If there's any items that you would like to pull out individually and discuss, now is the time. Basically the way this is going to work is you'll pull out a line item. Somebody will have to do a motion, somebody will have to do a second, and then we will discuss that item, and then we can vote. So I would like to open it up, raise your hand or an emoji or something if anybody would like to bring up a line item forward to discuss.
I am in a meeting for your school.
Heather, you might want to mute yourself.
Margaret has her hand raised, Monica.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't see everybody's screen, so thank you. Okay, Margaret, so which line item would you like to discuss tonight? Or proposed discussion on?
Okay, so I guess
we're just going to do one at a time.
My discussion, my first thing isn't really a line item. It's just like in a whole. My first thing is that it's a great budget, but I think you need something that's more realistic for this year, because I don't understand how you're going to go off of this if these aren't things that you're actually expecting to come in this year.
Well, these are proposed. And like I said, we are thinking more holistically in the next 2 years that we are going to be officers here. I think given the circumstances of this year, we know that, this isn't exactly what we're going to do. But again, we're trying to have a sturdy foundation and start somewhere. So is there a particular line item that you're interested in?
Sure. So then we'll go to the Scholastic Book Fair.
Okay. So somebody needs to make a motion to talk about are you making a motion, Margaret?
I'll make a motion to talk about the Scholastic Book Sale.
Anybody want a second to have that discussion?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, the Scholastic Book Fair, you have to make $2,500 in sales to able to start getting money for Scholastic money. And then after you make $2,500 in sales, you get 25% of the sales from there. So we would have to be able to pull in like $5,000 as a school. And we did it once. We'd have to have it twice for the year, I think, to even make that happen. And we did it once. But most of the time what happens is we do it for books for school, not for money for PTA. PTA wasn't actually really involved in it. It was something that the school did, and we just kind of helped out. Well, but from what I understand, that's how that works. So I don't think you're going to make $400. Well,
and I'm okay with you sharing this information, but I guess at this point, I want to make sure we're conscious of time. So, okay, what do you propose to change, and why? You just kind of explained why. Yes. What would you like to see it change to?
Well, I would expect realistically, if you get anything off of it, I would say $100. But for me, I think the best benefit of Scholastic is just getting books for the school at this point. That's why I kind of like Usborne, because you get 10 to 15% right off the bat, which I thought was a cool fundraiser. And the Scholastic Book Fair is it's hard to make money off of it. So
Well, and so you would like to see that
Maybe
line
50
item
bucks, maybe
$100?
$100 if you get to that point.
Okay, so then I just want to make sure I'm on track here, Carmen. So now that we have that line item and a proposed change, I think we need to call for the vote on that amendment. Is that correct, Carmen?
That's correct.
Okay, so then I'd like you to call for a vote. Can we do this via chat, or do we need to go through each? We're going to go through each person, right? Liz?
Carmen, I don't know. I know the full vote needs to be a voice vote. Does
Right.
each motion need to be a voice vote?
No, we can do it through the chat.
Okay, so
Okay.
people can, for changing the Scholastic book sale from $400 to $100, all in favor, please put in your chat aye, nay, or abstain.
Does that, oh, I'm sorry, can I raise my hand?
Yes.
Sorry. Is there a way to put as part of the line item that I don't know, that the goal would be to collect books instead of money?
Like I said, I only put this on here because I know we did it in the past. Because we may or may not do it this year, I don't feel like I didn't look into each one of these fundraising details at this time. That's why,
Okay.
you know, I'm just going to be fully disclosed on that. If we think that this isn't going to be a good investment, then we don't have to do it. We just want to make sure we have the line item in there so we have the option to do it. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So is this majority?
Yes, the motion carries.
Okay. All right, so the motion carries, and I'm going to make a note here to update that and amend that line item. Does anybody else want to move forward with an additional line item?
Vanessa has her hand raised.
Okay, I'm sorry, thank you. All right, Vanessa, which line item would you like to discuss?
Yeah, can I ask a general question first so I really understand what the budget is? Because if we're not actually budgeting for things we're going to be doing this year, can't we, I mean, does this have to be for both years right now, or do we revise it every year? Because otherwise, the things that we aren't going to be able to do or we know won't bring as much this year, shouldn't they be gone or revised now?
I'm going to hand this over to the president to answer.
Okay, so we have a working budget this is our budget for our whole administration. So we can come back and modify for each thing as we go. So like if we say this year we're going to do, like, one thing we know we want to do but we haven't gotten there yet is the fundraiser that you're going to do, Vanessa. So as things come up, we make those amendments as they happen. So then we're always adjusting up or down based on whatever we do, but we have to have a proposed budget to spend any money. So we want to be able to say, we don't have to come back and do this 2 years in a row. We want to do it now. And if we need to, we can adjust up and down, and we'll actually have actuals when we present the budget for next year. So we just want to get something on the books for this year that we can use going forward, and we can make adjustments up and down, and we can vote at any time on any item, period. But we can't spend any money right now because we have no budget really. So once we get this approved, we can make adjustments up and down based on what we decide that comes out of each of our committees. And then we'll have a working actuals to go along with that. So then we can readjust.
Does that answer your question, Vanessa?
I guess, but things like Chaparral, we know we're not going to do because we can't.
We haven't
You know what I'm
secured that
saying?
money yet.
So,
No, that money is the money that we are expected to get in from Chaparral from last year. So
Right.
that's not something we're planning to go forward. That's $200 that's owed to us. So
okay, gotcha.
absolutely not something
would be
nope, we are owed that
on
money.
the
So
other
it should be in our
Okay.
it should be in our budget.
Okay, but then this also affects what we're going to spend on things this year. So we're not going to spend anything until we know for sure what we're actually making. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm just confused.
We're not going to spend anything besides what we have in our budget, and we have a standing rule. We can't go dip below $300. So no matter what we spend and what we vote to spend or what we bring in, we have $3,000 we can work with. As long as we're within the line items that we have here, and we don't dip our funds below $300, then we can still move forward without coming back for a vote, if that makes sense.
So the line item I would like to address, because would be the field day. So I motion, I guess, or can I motion my own?
Yes, you can motion. Yes. So you have to get a second in order to talk about it. Is anybody?
A second.
Okay. So you're talking about the amount that for expense, right? Right here, this line item. Okay.
Yes.
And what would you want to change it to, and why?
So I guess I guess I don't have an actual number in mind because I wasn't involved in planning it. But like you said, I know we spent a lot more than that. And this is a huge thing for people who have had kids in since the beginning. This is like their jam, their best thing. They love it. They freak out about it. I personally would like to see that much more. Because we were hoping to even make it bigger as we went, and this kind of rolls into other areas, so I'm not sure how you're supposed to do this, but I would prefer having things like thank you gifts and stuff be, although it's awesome, not for teachers, but for like volunteers and stuff, I would propose that those monies would go into field day. Because I feel like the priority maybe should just switch a little bit. It sounds mean kind of, but not. But if we needed more money to go towards that, that would be my first thought, because none of these volunteers are expecting anything. Of course, we would love to give them something, but I would, and I believe everybody would agree, field day is an awesome investment.
I wanted to kind of explain why I put $300. So 2 years ago when you guys did it, you spent $1,000, and $700 of that was just for a jump house. And at this point, considering, so I gave you the 300 that you worked with minus the jump house. And obviously this doesn't include parent donations. This doesn't include what can we do that doesn't cost any money, make an obstacle course out of pool noodles. Like there's lots of options. For me, as your treasurer, when I made this budget, if we only had $3,000 in our account, I was not comfortable budgeting a third of it to include a jump house when we could find cheaper ways to still let our children have fun for field day. So I just wanted to kind of put some perspective on why I originally put that number down. Okay.
Sure.
So in order to vote, we do need a proposed number. So you could throw a number
I would
out there
propose,
and we will vote on it.
Yep. So I would propose then, so 3, 4, 20. I'm taking off of the places that I think. That's how I'll get to the number. So 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm proposing 700.
All right. So if everybody can put in their chat what they are willing to, or what they are comfortable doing.
I think Paul's explanation helps for that too. So apparently they were using the Penny Wars money towards field day. So like there wouldn't even in theory need to be a change. I'm just gonna throw that out there. If some of the things that we have line items for were actually designated to those things, we don't actually need to change that number.
Well, and I'm wondering how that works. This is a personal question, Carmen. Things that were earmarked for Goodland Elementary, we are a new PTA.
Correct.
So we can choose to still use those earmarked things or not. But obviously Penny Wars was from last year. If that was already earmarked, then it makes sense to honor that going forward for this year. But yeah, so then do we need to propose a number or do we earmark things? I guess I need clarification on that process, please.
So I was just adding things because I think that was something that was important to Vanessa, is if there's already money that was earmarked for that cause, I don't think we need to go there. But obviously going forward, it can change, but I'm just saying, apparently Paul stated that the Penny Wars money was set aside for field day. Also, it's already there. And we know we're not well, in theory, we're not having a field day this year. So we already have $1,000 there. So, I mean, we can still do this, Vanessa. I'm just putting out there information that we do have the money there. And by next year, we'll have double whatever this budget looks like.
And I apologize, Paul. I didn't see that in writing anywhere, so I didn't know that that was earmarked. You may have said it, but yeah. So thank you for telling us. So would we like to continue to vote on raising it for the next year, or do we want to just revisit this next year when we know we're having a field day? Because we can amend any line at any time, knowing that that Penny Wars income that was brought in last year will go to the next field day. I'm comfortable with it staying, unless, Vanessa, would you like to move forward with your $800 for the future, or keep it the same, knowing that Penny Wars income will go towards the next field day?
I would still like it to show that we would spend more money towards it, but maybe that's, yep.
And what was your number, $700?
Yeah, I just threw it out there, just quickly looking at things that I think we should scale back on.
Okay, so we are going to vote now on proposing the amended line item for field day from $300 to $700. You could please put that in the chat. Oh, was the field day teacher led in the past?
It was both.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Sorry, I can clarify. I was wondering what my understanding was the teachers, it was a sort of teacher celebration day, but they also, the bulk of sort of wrangling children was on them. So what they would want would be an important part of how I would think about going forward. Like, you know, are they psyched on a bounce house, or like what, you know, that's just, yeah. Is it a teacher-led experience?
Yeah, we can't get those answers from the teachers now, but
right.
Ms. Johnson.
I think I need clarification. So if the Penny Wars money is earmarked, so that's $800 that's earmarked towards field day now, and we're amending the budget to put in to budget $800 towards field day. So we're essentially saying we think field day should have $1,600 in the budget.
And that's why I said what I said. Yes, apparently yes, because earmarked money is already there. Now we're asking to go above and beyond that with an addition.
Is that what your intention was, Vanessa?
No.
Okay. So you think overall the whole budget for field day should be 700 or 800?
Yes, we're going to go off of previous years. And also we need to consider that Mr. Walworth was putting in a lot into it. I don't know monetarily what was going on with that, but I know he had a lot of supplies, you know, for all of those things. Did we have the last one we did, was that with or without him? I don't remember. Anyways, there will be things that we don't have because he was gone, etc. I'm just
with him.
I guess I'm just confused on why we have things that we know we're not going to do and etc. But that's whatever. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable like approving it if it's like all these what if. You know what I mean?
Well, we have to have a working budget to move forward.
Right, but wouldn't we
have
take out things we know for sure? Like,
well, if we're not going to do it, then this number won't be spent. So for example, if we're not doing field day this year, that $800 isn't going to be touched. That's going to be saved for the next field day, right? If we don't do the movie license this year because we don't go back to school, that $300 that I'm proposing is not going to be spent. So it's not relevant because we're not going to do it. And we're not going to move forward and do things without voting. So you'll have a say as we go through this stuff. It's not like this is set in stone and it's this or nothing, you guys. This is just a proposed starting point. And as we progress throughout the year, at every PTA meeting, we can pull out a line item, we can change it. Okay, well, we thought we'd make $400 on this book sale. Well, we didn't. So let's go ahead and amend that. And then we have to adjust our spending based on the money that we received. Does that help clarify a little bit? I'm sorry. I want to make sure that everybody is not confused. Confused. Does that help at all? Anybody?
And
A
yes,
little
I
bit,
saw
but
your
if it
hand
can
up.
be amended, yeah, I should put my hand down.
Okay. Well, I apologize. I don't want to cut us short on time for this either, but I also, like I said, we had other things we want to get through. So would you, Vanessa, just to go back, since you were the one who brought up the line item, we have to vote now. Would you like to keep it at 300, knowing that that is a total budget of $1,100 for the next field day? Or would you like to amend it to 800, so that gives us a $1,600 for next field day?
No, if it's compounded, I'm fine with it.
And that's only because the previous PTA did earmark that Penny Wars money, so we obviously will honor that. And if everything goes well, we'll continue that if that's what's working. Okay.
Right, and this year we probably won't have Penny Wars, so that would be an issue for next year.
Right. At that time, we can amend that item at that time, because
Can you
again,
just show us where you have it in there, earmarked for it? Because I don't
have any earmarks because you guys didn't provide me anything in writing. I didn't know that you had certain things already earmarked. So we can have that discussion outside of this meeting. But now that Paul brought it to my attention, we will happily honor that Penny War income of $800 towards field day if that's what you guys earmarked it for. Absolutely.
Okay, so you're going to have to put it in there anyway.
Yes,
if it's earmarked, you're going to end up having to put it in there. She's not asking for more. We're just asking that it be put to the correct amount.
Okay.
Got it.
And that's fine. But like I said, if there's any other items that you and Paul know about that I don't, if you could send that to me, that would be wonderful. Okay, so we're going to move forward. Does anybody else have any line items to bring forward in the budget besides the two that we did discuss so far?
Do we need to vote on the earmark or anything?
No.
Or is that not an amendment?
That's not an amendment. The earmark was done before this budget was done.
Yes.
So that's set in stone. That can't go anywhere. It was, I mean, obviously anything that was earmarked, we have to go forward with because it was collected with the understanding it was going there. So we can't change the destination.
Well, and in my defense, when I made this, I did not have that information. Okay. That came right now when we were having this meeting. I guess he may have mentioned it. I know Paul probably did, but obviously, yeah. So I apologize.
Totally. No, that's why I'm asking if if we should put it in as an amendment.
So we're going to do the $800 earmarked for field day from Penny Wars. And there's also that $2,088 and some change for our greenhouse. Those are the only two things that I know of right now that are currently earmarked from Goodland PTA before this new one. And we can talk about this further once I know if there's anything else that's earmarked. I will be happy to touch on it this next month and bring you guys an update on that. Okay. All right, so let's see, because we called for it to motion, change the amount, do we need to vote because it started in motion? Heather, did you want to read that? Okay.
Yes, Monica, what you need to do is just reiterate what the vote is, and then we either vote it up or down.
Okay, so the vote is Vanessa wanted to do $700. Can she retract that? This is where I don't know the process.
She can withdraw her motion if she chooses to, but she hasn't, so we have to move forward unless she withdraws.
So, Vanessa, we're either going to move forward with your proposal of $700, or you could decide. Would you like to do that?
Withdraw it if it gets earmarked.
Okay. Yes, it will be earmarked. Please put that in the minutes, Liz. Okay. Anybody else have any other line items that they'd like to discuss or bring a motion forward to be able to discuss? Okay. So I don't see anybody at this time. So the time has come now to vote on the proposed budget. Again, this is just an initial proposal and all of these things can be amended at any meeting. So I'd like to ask for a motion to amend the budget as presented.
I motion that.
And then
Second.
Okay. So then I think this is where we do have to do a voice vote. Is that correct? So Liz is going to go through the roster and you'll have to either say aye, nay, or abstain.
And just so I'm sure, it was Nicole Kosnick that made the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to start up at the top with myself. A for me. Vanessa Burgess. Vanessa. I'll mark her as abstain. Monica Kusheri.
Aye.
Monica, thank you. Lisa Dabrowski.
I don't see her on here.
Marcus abstain. Anissa Dunn.
I seconded, so aye.
Oh, thanks. Carolyn Friesch.
Aye.
Karen Hardcastle.
Aye.
Robin Holmes.
Aye.
Melissa Malden. Marcus abstain. Carrie Morey.
Aye.
Heidi Russell.
Aye.
Paul Sanfilippo.
Abstain.
Margaret Walsh.
Nay.
Okay. We needed 10 votes total for it to pass. We only have 9, so the motion doesn't carry.
Okay, so I'm going to hand it over. Let's see. Carmen, how do we proceed from here?
Carmen, can I make a new motion?
Yes, but I also have a question because I don't, unless I'm missing something, there's only 7, there were 17, right?
I have 15 PTA members in attendance. I have Miss Lisa Dabrowski was on the call, but did she drop off?
Yeah, she's not here. So I didn't know if you were counting that in the totals. That's all I was asking.
I was, because she was here. I swear I saw her. I swear I did.
I don't know. Not there now.
Did you call it Heather? She is a PAIN member.
Maybe I didn't.
You did not.
But also, to answer your question, Monica, then what we have to do is resubmit and do the vote next month. So then if we need to vote to spend any money on particular things like anything that we have going forward, we'll have to do it piecemeal because we don't have a budget.
So each thing as we move forward that we need to spend money on, we'll have to get together and vote for each thing every time. Is that what you're saying? Just for my clarification? Okay.
Yes. Until a new budget can be prepared and presented. Yes.
Okay.
I did miss Heather. That's my fault. I apologize. I didn't notice that she came into the chat or into the meeting. Are we able to ask for her vote, Carmen, or is it too late?
Yes, especially in light of the fact that we counted someone who wasn't on the call too. So we have to retabulate anyways. So we need
Sorry
to start.
about that.
We need to just start from the top and go down the list again.
Okay. All right. Well, starting with myself again, I vote A. And then, sorry about that, Vanessa.
Sorry, I'm here now. Nay.
Monica.
Aye. A.
Nicole. Oh, you made the motion. Anissa, you made the second. Carolyn Friesch.
Aye.
Karen Hardcastle.
Aye.
Robin Holmes.
Aye.
Is Melissa Malden on the line? Who is Missy? I have somebody listed as Missy on the call.
It's Miss Missy Becker,
Okay.
the teacher.
Okay.
Carrie Morey.
Aye.
Heidi Russell.
Aye.
Paul Sanfilippo.
Nay.
Heather Thurman.
Aye.
Margaret Walsh.
Nay.
Thank you. 1 second. All right, we have 10 votes and we have 14 members in attendance. So that by my count is 2/3.
And I was just gonna say, if there was one vote difference, I get to vote. So.
So then it looks like the motion carries.
That's correct.
All right, so would you like me to screen share again, Carmen?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, so the last two things I just wanted to update is our flower power. I did update that already, obviously. It was the $921.50 that will be deposited tomorrow. I will put it in the account. I just got the check yesterday and I wanted to wait until after our meeting. And then I wanted to also move forward that Education Week is coming up. It is the November 16th through the 20th. And we thought as PTA, it might be a nice time to actually give out our EA appreciation gifts because it is Education Week. So I just wanted to bring light to that. Obviously, with the budget going through, we did budget that $20 times 7 of our EAs. If it didn't go through, we would have had to vote on it. That's why it was on this slide. So we're going to move forward and honor our EAs during that Education Week. Those, I'm not exactly sure. We haven't put too much thought into what we're going to do at this time yet, but we will most likely deliver it on Wednesday the 18th because that's the actual day for during Appreciation Week, Education Appreciation Week, excuse me. So that completes my portion. Carolyn, I'm not sure who's next, but.
Who's our activity next?
It's our icebreaker that is next. So yes, so always return to the chair. Hi. So we are now on to the point of the agenda, and I apologize, guys. I didn't know how much discussion the budget was going to be. So we will make this shorter than what is listed on the agenda because now we are going to run into the Packer game. But I do believe after all of that, we do need some time where we bond. So I have prepared breakout rooms for everybody. So we will be pushed out into the breakout rooms, just so you know what we're doing when we get there. There are facilitators in each room. The facilitators know who they are. And we are going to go over the story of how our children got their names and our favorite superhero villain. And we will be in breakout rooms for half the time that we suggested before. So I will push you out into our rooms. Thank you.
To come out, do we?
Nope, automatic. It'll count down. We're good. Carrie, do you guys see how to join the room? There should be a button that tells you to join for your breakout room, you and Heather. Do you guys know how to join? Are you having issues joining the breakout rooms?
I'm not done.
Well, I think it's just us.
It might be. Were we too fast?
Oh, we were that fast?
I guess so.
Oh, I was so concerned. I was like, oh no, I don't know the time limit. I can't remember. I didn't remember the time limit. And she said half it. So
I know.
Right.
Well, in that case, let me tell you about Halloween. Because we were talking about superheroes. So my family is a big Avengers family. And we were the Avengers. So my daughter was Iron Man. My husband was Spider-Man, just because that's really the only thing we could find with COVID. Like there were no options. And he thought about being Thanos.
Okay.
But it's like so expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's more expensive than the regular ones. And then my son was Baby Hulk. And I was Scarlet Witch, only because there was no other option. Like there was nothing. And I had to just make it. I didn't, like, it wasn't.
Yeah, that would be hard.
I'm gonna show it.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. We really
fun.
It was fun. We took a Batman mask and spray painted it red. Or a Batgirl mask, I should say. Batgirl.
That's cool. That'd be fun. Riley was Mulan. The new Mulan, you know, the live action
I never
Mulan.
got to see it yet.
It's actually pretty good.
I'm going to wait till December, though, because I think it's free in December.
Yeah, I think it is, too. But we couldn't wait. Or I thought it was it October? Oh, maybe it is December on Disney, right? We've been watching The Mandalorian.
That's what my husband said, that it's free in December, because my
December
parents
12th or
called
something.
and they're trying to mooch off of us. And we were like, you can't order Mulan.
No, you can't. No, don't make me pay for that for you. We have been watching The Mandalorian, though, so I think next year Riley wants to all be that. So I think Rodney's going to be the Mandalorian. Riley's going to be the girl.
Might copy you.
Yeah, and then we have a baby Yoda, so we'll just take him along. And who knows what I'm going to do. We'll figure it out.
We did dress my son up as Baby Yoda, but he grew out of it in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh no. Shoot, I gotta contact the Melissa.
I'm gonna have to get going at 7:30. I know, because Melissa's.
I know. I'm messaging her right now.
I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make that. Although I've done Usborne's before, so I kind of know how I've ordered off of fairs before, so I kind of know how it works. I
don't know if I've done a fair, but I've done a part.
Yeah, it's about the same, because they do it on Facebook. They set up a group thing, like on Facebook. You go to the site, you can order books, so it should be similar.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I actually had already planned. There were a couple that I couldn't order earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And they were back ordered, and I was like, "Oh, that works out nice because I can just buy them."
Yeah,
now.
you can get them now. Yeah.
Hopefully, they're not back ordered again.
Hopefully they are in stock.
There's one that was like obscure colors.
Okay.
So, like, obviously she knows the rainbow, but I'm trying to teach her like teal and
yeah, all the random odd ones.
Yeah, it's like
that are cool, but you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pop into room 1 and 2 to see if they can come back out, just because we're so far past time. So I'll join their rooms and see if I can get us to go back in there.
Karen, were we talking about your cool background when we popped in? Is that what I thought that's what I caught the tail end of you were saying you're teaching her the cool colors, and I have been admiring your cool, very, very organized, colored bookcase, and I'm like so impressed, and I wish I had the time or the patience.
Okay.
I think it looks cool.
There's a story a little bit though, because I'm a teacher. So I used to have these all down below, and I used to have junk up top, like bins. And then, so I was like, oh my gosh, I need to like spice it up back there.
Gotta
Maybe I
pretty
should
it
get a
up.
curtain that looks like books. And I'm like, wait a second. I have books.
Good job. I like
So
that.
those are the ones that are in between kids right now. Like
Okay.
she's
Sure,
already
sure.
done with them, and then the baby's not ready for them, or they're too high up. So,
Later on.
Yeah, but I did
Yeah, I
steal
have,
it from
I
the
have a whole
internet.
set too like that.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you. I stole it. It's from the Instagram people on Netflix. The Home Edit. They do everything rainbow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love it.
Thank you. My daughter actually has her lineup as well in her bedroom.
Get out.
Like on her own bookshelf.
Sorry for my tardiness, everybody. Liz didn't know how to work the breakout room.
We were just hanging out.
We were having a good old
Break open
time.
a beer. Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do. I just know we've lost a lot of people. Like people are really now. So we'll skip the share outs. We will just share that out another time in another way. We'll do breakout rooms every time, so we'll be good. So we can just go into the committee reports, and we can start with Anissa.
My committee report is that I have two members of my committee, Missy and Stephanie, who have very graciously agreed to be on the bylaws committee, and we are going to meet on an as needed basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, we are going to put in the chat, if you are interested in joining Anissa's committee, you can use the form, and that's for all the committees. So going forward, you can do it for all the committees. If you're interested in any committees, there's a form. You can select which ones you would like to join based on clicking the link for the form. Okay, we are on to Nicole.
So we've already had our first meeting. We have a next meeting scheduled for November 12th at 7 p.m. We are still looking for a backup room parent, so if anybody's interested, let us know. And we've already submitted most of the teachers' wish list. We're still waiting on a couple, and those will all be given to the PTA to then decide what they want to do as far as teacher gifts go for this year. And that's all I got.
So I just wanted to show our,
sorry.
I just wanted to show our winning pumpkins for the pumpkin bash. Very excited at the number of pumpkins we had entered. I thought we had a pretty good turnout for our first go round. We had 83 individual votes for the contest too, which I thought was pretty darn good participation. So that was exciting. And then Carmen, if you can give me a click on the slides, or sorry, Carolyn. We also offered our first newsletter that went out with Ms. Johnson's newsletter. The hope is that we'll be able to do this every month to hopefully push out information to families on a monthly basis. And currently I'm looking for more members of my committee. It's just me, Carmen, and Nicole. So if you're interested in joining communications, come on over. We need the help.
Okay, so for community involvement, I have sent out some emails and I haven't heard back from several people yet. So far, Carmen's the only one who's given me a day option or options for possibly getting together to meet. I'm going to try to push on that a little bit. Robin did say she would be helpful. I mean, obviously, Robin, you also have your own committee, full committee on committee there as well. I had a couple people, one person that's kind of on the fence as well. So I'm going to keep trying to get people in. I have some ideas. So I'm ready to roll. I just would really like to get more ideas from our community, from the school, from people in the school, on kind of what's important to them. So I was really hoping more people would answer my email back, but I'll keep going. So if anybody wants to be in community involvement, please just let me know or hit me up. That's all I got.
Okay, we are on to family involvement, but Nicole isn't able to join us tonight. So we will go on to fundraising with Karen.
Okay, so we have a lot going on this week. So I'm really glad that we met today because it's literally the kickoff to 2 major fundraisers this week. So as you know, if you've seen on Facebook, the Dragon Pit barbecue fundraiser is tomorrow. I'm super excited. I think it's really unique. I think people are really going to love it. But what one of the things that I wanted to kind of encourage all of us to do, and it's kind of difficult, but not really, is to share it out with people that we know. So it's as simple as just copy and pasting on Facebook and doing it during the Packer game or whatever, because you know people are sitting on their phones too at the same time. So hopefully you can just copy and paste the post that's already in our Facebook and really share that out, because everybody loves an excuse not to cook. So I'm super psyched about it. I still have to put my order in tonight. And after we do that, one of the things is we're gonna give like a little slip of paper or whatever that says, can you share a picture of you either eating food, holding up your bag, something with barbecue, and then put a hashtag Monty Proud, hashtag Dragon Pit Barbecue, and hashtag pop up on the actual Facebook. Sorry, you know what? And now can't. Is it on? It's on.
It's a post. It's a post. Yep.
Thank you.
Post
Just making sure.
Or on your Instagram, whatever social media you use.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so that's huge, because then you'll be entered into a drawing for a free Usborne book. So it's kind of like carrying over to the next thing. So Usborne started today and it kicked off with the Facebook group. That's another thing that maybe not this second, maybe actually, honestly, during the Packer games, probably a good time to do it, is to share out with anybody that you would like to. Of course, no pressure, but a lot of people are looking for holiday gifts, and now is the perfect time to buy up some books. So if you could share, that is very easy to share. You can literally just invite people that you think are interested. And of course, this reaches out further than the Racine community. It can go to anybody, grandma in Florida, whoever. Okay, and so that's my big ask as far as the current fundraisers. I'm really excited for them. What was my, we are looking for more people to join the committee. So I do have a survey that's not necessarily for joining the committee, but it can be. It's also for ideas and things that are most interesting to you, things you want to see, that kind of thing. So Carmen, would it be best to put that link in the chat, or would it be best with like a email follow-up?
I think a follow-up email, because so many people have had to drop off.
Yep. Okay, cool. So that is one thing. And it's really just, even if you don't want to join the committee, it's still a good thing to fill out. It's just a survey about fundraisers. Okay. And then the important thing that I needed to talk about is December, and making sure that we at least vote on the potential fundraiser for December. So in the committee meeting, Carmen came up with a wonderful idea to work on this connecting and still encourage social distancing through a cookie cookbook. And it would be like a socially distanced version of a cookie exchange that we can't actually exchange cookies. And still, of course, encouraging the Montessori practical life. Got it. So this would be something that we really need to get on like right away for November. Like as soon as these close out, we're looking to encourage people to cook at home, pick that family recipe that they would want to share. And we're looking at a couple different ways that that could be compiled, whether it's just like us compiling it or if it's a company compiling it and selling it that way. But we at least would like to talk about getting that going as soon as possible as the December fundraiser. But that would be something that we would need a motion on. And did I forget anything? I don't think so.
I would love to make that motion.
Yeah, okay. I'll second it then.
Okay. And so should we, it's open for discussion then? Any questions, thoughts, ideas?
Great idea.
Great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Good idea. I'd be more apt to use it if it was like digital. I don't know if that is something that could be done or not, but I'd be, if it was like, you could download, you pay and then you download it or something, or
like a PDF.
I don't know. Yeah, I would.
We could have both options. Yeah.
Might be easier to do
Just
this year if
'cause-
it's a
and then
PDF.
It's more profit. It's more profit too. You don't have to spend any money.
Definitely.
Or time, really.
I love that.
You know, we could do it like how photos do it, where people can download if they want the downloadable, and they can print out if they want the print. We just give them the copyrights, and then they can go print them themselves.
All profit, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, cool. And then my thought was like for each page, you know, you obviously need the recipe and the directions. So possibly like sending like a form, you know, with like, okay, I don't need it to, we don't need it to be like, you know, when you go on a blog where it's like 7 pages long, but like a little, but a little blurb that you could say like, this is my ancient family recipe and whatever. And then the directions, the measurements, the everything, so that it's real kind of, nobody skips anything. Cause I know when I look back on some of my parents' recipes, I'm like, I don't know what that says. So I don't want anybody to skip out on something. And then I was thinking potentially like two pictures, like you doing it with the kids and them cooking, and then a picture of the actual cookie. Just some thoughts. Okay. So do we need to vote on this? Okay.
So you call for the all in favor? Yes.
All in favor say aye or nay. Go ahead and type it in the chat.
Actually,
I don't
that
vote,
looks
right?
like everybody.
So the motion passed. And then Karen, did you have anything else? Sorry, did you have anything else?
I'm thinking the other thing needs to be pushed off to the next month.
Sounds good. Yep, sounds good. If you just
You know what? There is for the potential restaurant night, we need to talk about the potential of looking into Blue Bear as the December kind of hopeful drive-through. Could be a breakfast Saturday situation and kind of switching it up, but of course encouraging the small businesses around us, especially given the situation that's going on with small businesses. So if you, I totally forgot. If
you want to call for a motion,
I'm gonna get it someday.
It's
So
okay.
I'd like to call for a motion on talking about Blue Bear as the restaurant possibility for December.
I'll motion.
I'll second
that
Sorry, I was
motion.
lagging out.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing too. Okay, so it's open for a discussion. One of the things I do want to add is we do have a backup option if for some reason it doesn't work, then we're gonna pursue Culver's as an option.
I love Blue Bear and I love Blue Bear breakfast. I think that's great. It's small business, it's local, and I think the closer to Christmas, the better, because the closer you get to Christmas, the more people say, I gotta cook for my family or whatever. Let's do takeout breakfast. My thoughts.
That's a good idea. I'm just looking at the calendar.
So we have the motion, we have the second. I think we were done with discussion, Karen. So if you want to just, that part can be done in committee. We just want to get through with the.
Okay, so vote.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna call for a vote. I think that's everyone.
The motion carries.
Okay. So then, Karen, did you just want to announce the next meeting?
I wanted to send out the survey first, if that's possible.
Yep,
yeah.
That's fine. Then we are on to membership with Carolyn.
Cool. So membership meeting is going to be on Sunday at 10 a.m. Definitely looking for members. Right now it is Liz, Carmen, and myself. So, and you know, we need more membership, so more people at the table to help with that would be great. And then with grant writing, we'll be starting that up at the beginning of the year. So if you love writing, or you love research, and you love making money, that would be a great committee to join. Robin is on that committee with me, as well as Carmen. Carmen's on all of our committees, which is great. And but we'd be happy to have some people on that committee as well. And if you don't know anything about grant writing, I am a grant writer, so don't worry. I will teach and train you. I can train an 18-year-old. I know I can train you how to do this. So.
Okay, we're on to Robin with reflections.
Robin, would you like me to share the video first, or do you want to talk first and then I share the video?
Why don't I introduce it briefly first? Thank you. Reflections is a national PTA art competition. So we're going to begin it at our sort of school level, and then it'll go to state and then national potentially. And the theme, as you can see, is I Matter Because. This is one of the PTA initiatives that really particularly showcases the national PTA commitment to equity across a lot of different categories, which I really appreciate. Why don't we roll the video?
We can't hear it. Or I can't hear it.
Let me try that again.
Hear it either.
Hold on. Record, join. Miss Ayers, I think that I need you to do that piece now that you have taken hosting duties.
You're muted.
You're muted, Carmen.
I forgot I took back hosting for the breakouts. I give it back to you, Carolyn. So it should already be preset.
Are we good now?
No.
When
I
you
can
share, you
summarize
need to
too.
click the box that says audio in the left-hand corner to share the audio. So you're gonna
Like
have to stop
computer
sharing
audio.
and share again.
Yeah, Paul's right.
This technology stuff is just the greatest at sometimes. So walk me through, Paul, what would you like me to do?
You have to stop sharing first and then share again. But when you share on the left hand or at the bottom left-hand corner, there's a box that says share with audio, and that'll let the audio go through.
Remember when we first started, Carolyn and I said, make sure you check the bottom and the lower that says share computer audio?
Yeah, I
Like
remember
before you
that.
started presenting your screen. Yeah.
And I did that, and then now I'm like, I'm looking for it again.
Act it out, Robin.
Yeah, just act it out, Robin.
I'm happy to summarize. It's I believe in this video, she's talking about the origin of the theme, and the themes are always chosen by students. So this was, I believe, a first grader came up with the theme I Matter Because, and she was thinking about the context of the fires in California. But of course, this year it's become particularly, what's the right word? Applicable and maybe more poignant because of Black Lives Matter. And so, well, the sort of, especially in Wisconsin, the sort of coalescing of the Black Lives Matter movement. So it's a really, I think, a really inspiring theme. And definitely, as I already mentioned, it expresses the national PTA's devotion to equity, which really appeals to me, and I really want to bring into our organization as much as possible. So there are a ton of categories, but because of the experts that we have at our school, I narrowed them down to photography, visual art, and special artists categories for students to submit. I'm hoping to get a couple of dozen submissions, and we're going to be meeting probably every other Sunday. We're starting this Sunday, and I have a pretty great team already of people who want to sort of think about it on the front end, and then people who are open, like Vanessa, to judging and looking at the submissions, which is a sort of different time commitment. And I'm really excited that Ms. Guzman has generously said she would love to incorporate it into her lessons. She is familiar with reflections and has done it before. So it's rolling. I'm excited. And anybody who wants to join, you're welcome. Does that give you?
Yep, absolutely great. Thank you, Robin.
Awesome, thanks.
We are on to Ms. Johnson.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So the first thing we have is, you're all probably aware RUSD came out with their re-entry plan. It is on their website. I'll just go over a few things since realistically we're quite far away from re-entry right now. I'm considering the rates in Wisconsin. Right now we are in the red. They are saying for elementary to return first, we have to be in the yellow. So it goes green, yellow, orange, red. So obviously we'd have to go down 2, which means there has to be only 50 to 100 number of new cases per 1,000 persons within the last 14 days. Also, some secondary indicators are right now we're higher than 10%. We have to be between 5 and 8% of the percentage of tests that are positive during the last 14 days. And I know we are a lot higher than 10%. I think we're averaging about 30%, 25% in Wisconsin. So there are, the first phase would be 3K through 5th returning first to classrooms. But I think certainly if you have any questions on that, let me know. Again, it is on the RUSD website, and it's pretty easy to read. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. And, you know, every month we can sort of touch base on it and see, hopefully we'll get closer to it. I'm really hoping we get these students back at some point this school year. So that's with the reentry plan. Parents' wants and requests. I'll just thank you all so much. I had 95 responses for the parent survey that went out. So I was extremely pleased. I think we were, let's see, over 70% of people gave us like a 3 or 4 or 5. You know, how is in general remote learning going? So I was happy with that. The biggest thing I heard from parents is that they would like more time on materials that they need for the week. And so I have a staff meeting next week, and I will be just putting that in the teachers' ears. You know, give parents maybe a little more time if we are asking them for any special materials that they just can't find, you know, sort of near them. So construction, nothing, we're on track, I think, to finish. They've been very respectful and kind of fun to have in the building since it's just us. So that should be done by the end of November. The new Montessori materials kits, our EAs and teachers are working feverishly to put those together. We're ordering supplies. The intent was to have them the week before Thanksgiving. But then in the newsletter, I said it will probably be the first week in December. If we can get them done, which I think we can, it probably will be going out that week of Thanksgiving. It's like that Monday, Tuesday, and then we have off Wednesday, obviously Thursday, Friday. I'm going to talk about at the staff meeting, a few concerns about putting it out on Monday, and then really the students probably wouldn't be able to access it till that next Monday. Does that make sense? So we're going to be talking about that at the staff meeting. It all depends on how fast we can get those kits put together. But again, pretty much all of the materials that I ordered came in, and the EAs and the teachers are working really hard on getting those together. Let's see. Okay, yearbook and school pictures. So we were in contact with Life Touch. At this moment, they are not doing a yearbook. School pictures, they're not really doing either. They are working on a system to do it remote. If and when we return, if they can come in person safely, they would like to do that. But as of now, they are trying to work out a system to do it digitally, remotely. So I certainly will keep you updated on that. Let's see. Done. Can I talk about something else even though it's not on the agenda?
Go for it. I mean, okay. We're so far past time.
I know. Okay, so maybe not. Should I not?
Make it brief. Make it brief.
We did. We started Spirit Wear. It's on the website, and I apologize. It's at the same time as your fundraisers. It's just I did want it to come in before the holidays. Next year we certainly can roll it out. Now that we have this new company, we were searching, it takes a while to do like this design, going back and forth, blah, blah, blah. So next year we'll definitely push it out earlier, probably in early October. And we'll have one in spring as well. So I hope you checked it out because I'm really pleased with the prices, and I'm pleased with the array of Spirit Wear we have this year. So also yes.
I was curious. So I noticed on the design we're using the RUSD logo. Was there a reason for that?
No, they just kind of. Is that weird?
It seems weird.
Yes, because it's like we're promoting the district versus our own school. Like it feels like that's not a part of our school at all, other than the letters RUSD. So like to have their logo, it's like we're a walking billboard for the district versus a walking billboard for our school.
Maybe that's more of a question about our school name in general. It's always felt like our kids don't get a mascot. They don't get a real school name. It doesn't make sense to me, but I know that's not in your control.
So I have talked with districts several times about changing the name. Everybody in the district uses a different. Sometimes it's the Montessori program at Goodland, and that's why I really advocated for a different name. But we had to. They wanted Goodland sort of still in the name because it was named after an actual person, and then it has to go through the school board. So certainly that's something we can talk about. And if I have you behind me, we even talked with staff last year, like, do we keep it Goodland? Do we call it Graceland? Because that's with Grace and Courtesy. So we have a lot of ideas. It was just district sort of was like, nope, it's just going to be RUSD Montessori. It would be a lot easier if we did change it because we have so many mix-ups with Racine Montessori. People go to the wrong building. I even have people going there for interviews and they're like, oh, that's nice to know that they're interviewing. Okay, so I hear you on that. And
let us know what we can do as a PTA and a body to help support you on that in the future, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Numbers, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Great. That's awesome. Because I think it is necessary. However, when I speak, I always say RUSD Montessori, usually at Goodland, just to keep it when I'm speaking with district people. So I'm sorry you feel that way about the logo. It's not bigger than our logo, is it?
I mean, I think the products look great. Please don't get me wrong. I think they look amazing, especially compared to what we had last year. And we will order stuff and I'm sure the girls will be thrilled. I was surprised to see that logo on there because it's like, well, that's not our school. So I was just confused. I didn't know if there was a reason, like a specific reason why that was on there.
I think when we submitted, that's not something we submitted. We submitted RUSD Montessori, and I think for printing purposes, they probably used that, RUSD and then did the Montessori around that. So I would assume no other school has RUSD. Okay.
Well, and I haven't even gotten a link, so I have no idea. I've never seen it, no clue. So
I just want to say at Case, there's like 7 logos that they force us to put on. So it's like a common thing. I don't know.
I mean, if we don't need to get down this rabbit hole. We'll have to buy them every year. That's good fundraising.
Well, right, and that's why I like the creativity of the sort of kind of artsy one that they did, and I think RUSD is on that one. But I appreciate you telling me, and certainly next year, and even in spring, we can change it. I can say, let's get that RUSD logo off of here. Oh, I know. Oh, what do they say? Oh my, okay. Well, that makes me
well,
feel
it's funny because then we look like the boys look like everybody's always like looking at them like, why don't you know your school name?
Right. And if they just say Montessori, people are probably like, what Montessori school? RUSD Montessori. So when I speak of our school, I always say RUSD Montessori. I do think it's important, in my opinion, to have the RUSD in there. We are the only public Montessori school in the system. So I think it is important to attach ourselves to, Racine Unified, because I feel extremely supported by them, and I hope parents do as well. But I think it is important to have that RUSD, public.
I don't think that was the issue. I think it was legit, having the Racine Unified School District logo. Okay. I think that's the biggest, we are not a brand of the district. We are our own school.
Okay.
That.
Okay. Thank you. And then I will let them know. And then.
And I think from us, just let us know what we need to do as parents to raise that issue, because maybe the school district or the school board doesn't really understand that it's super confusing for parents. And I feel a little bit like our kids kind of are missing out on, I still know my elementary school mascot.
Yeah.
How many years later? So,
we typically go with the globe, and and that's what we use. Now, my secretary, you know, Lisa's always like, whoa, globy, what is it? And I'm like, but Montessori, we, you know, typically we don't want a cartoon character because we're Montessori and we like, you know, nonfiction. So that's certainly something we could come up with, you know, as a school. And I'm more than happy to, and we sort of just implemented those colors, that green and blue, it was earthy, and we can change that as well. This is just sort of something that we kind of had to come up with since we were in transition. I know yeah, that is nice.
I think that we do have to have something though, if we're going to become a sports team next year. I'm just saying, if we know sports are coming, like you can't have a mascot or chant a globe. I'm all with having the O in Montessori be a globe, but I'm just saying, like, we are graduating our school up into sports, and like there's no way to represent that in a way that makes sense. I know, Carolyn, you probably have to go, and I'm so sorry.
I do, and I'm running the slides, and I have to put my kid to bed, and my husband's out of town. So I'm sorry to cut this short.
Okay.
I don't know how many more slides are left.
I will in spring, we'll look at what other options.
One more
we have
slide. We don't need it. There's one more slide. So if you just want to throw the slide up and then. Sure. There you go. And I think we already had all of that. So you can stop sharing your screen now that we've seen the last in our next meeting, and I'll make the announcement. So bye, Carolyn. Thank you. Hold on. Let me make me can you make me the host before you leave? Because you'll knock us all off. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Carolyn. Okay, Ms. Johnson, go ahead. You can finish.
No, I feel horrible now. I'm looking at this t-shirt set. Okay. So I can talk to the company, and in spring we can, you know, adjust it if need be.
I truly didn't mean to make you feel bad about the designs. I actually really like them. It just was like, I was wondering why that was on there and if that was a requirement by the district or something.
No, I think it truly was the company's, when we submitted, we are RUSD Montessori, that was the company's way of easily, you know, transmitting RUSD onto the, you know, with the Montessori. I think that's what happened. And I'm excited to have like different spirit wear out there. You know what I mean? This looks different than last year, but I like that. And so certainly in spring, we can have something, you know, different as well. I do like the sort of fun design, but you know, this is a discussion we can talk about. Sure. But I think, you know, I just wanted to let everyone know I am submitting stuff to our website guy, David. All websites are now in transition of getting updated, and he said it should be done by the 20th. So he did put your newsletter on one of the tabs, but he said everything else I submitted will be in the newly updated website, which hopefully will be out by the 20th or after Thanksgiving for sure. So I will be on that after meeting, submitting everything that the PTA gives me, and then we'll have a link to your website as well. So I think that was it from me.
So I just want to thank everyone for hanging in and making it to the end of the meeting. The only thing we have left are the announcements, which is that we have our Dragon Pit Barbecue fundraiser tomorrow. Please make your orders if you haven't already. And then obviously we have the hashtags that Karen gave us. So when we do get our orders and we get our food, take beautiful pictures, post, tag, it'll be awesome. So then we'll all be linked together. And then if you don't know where the orders are coming from or where to pick them up, it's at the branch, which is at 1501 Washington Avenue. And that's the big building right next to the corner house. If you know where the corner house is, you go around the back where the teller lines are, and that's where you pick up. So it's curbside. So there is a call-in number that when you place your order, you get the number, or if you go on the website, you get the number. So you call them when you get there and then they'll bring it out to you.
I have a question, Carmen. Do you have to pre-order, or is there like a waiting in line?
No, you have to order because they won't know to make, because like they will sell out, like legit they will sell out, and then they won't know, like it's not like a drive-through. They preset the times. So once they
I'm
run
gonna
out,
add that to the post, like they will sell out. Like
every time he's had one, they've sold out. So
okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then our next meeting will be on December 3rd at 6 p.m. I promise we will not go over. We shouldn't have any issues next time. Staying on time. I'm so sorry if you lost Packer beginning of the game. Sorry.
I'm a Bears fan, so I really don't care.
I love
He's
it.
like, we can meet until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It is
You are my hero, Karen.
Missy, you're a Bears fan?
How dare you?
And
In
I taught her daughter.
Chicago.
Yes.
I am not a fair weather fan. I was born and raised in Illinois, Chicago all the way.
Same. That's what happened to me when the Cubs won. They were like, "You're a fair weather fan." I'm like, "No,
No.
I'm from there."
Those parent teacher conferences the next day were rough.
For sure. Because I'm definitely Packers, so that. But my husband's Ravens, so he hates both of us, so it's all good.
I have referred to living in Wisconsin as being locationally challenged.
So we don't have any other agenda items. We have exhausted the agenda other than new business. If there's something that you want to bring to the next meeting that you can think of offhand, go ahead and email that to Liz or to myself or to both in the Goodland email address. So I think a motion to adjourn would be in order at this time.
Oh.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All right. We don't even have to vote because we exhausted the agenda. So we are good once we have the second. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Miss
Carmen.
Missy,
Thank you.
Join the PTA.